The stories in this episode are real, and every variation of the stories are owned and copyrighted by Mozart's Entertainment and the Culture Currency brand.
Good morning.
Grand Rising.
How you doing today?
I'm great.
Okay, good, good. Let's do our intros and then we'll get into what we're doing.
All right.
All right?
Good. Sounds like a plan. I'm Mahagony,
I'm Ish.
and this is Culture Currency.
What culture?
Is the value.
Yes. So today we are doing an interview with the one and only Mahagony. Should I say your real name too?
Okay.
Because it says slash on our credits. It's like, do they even know who this is?
It
It says Kamisha Oliver. And we're getting to know more about Mahagony today. So even though we've been friends for years, you know, in friendships, I mean, we talk about a lot of things, but the foundation of us sometimes is so far removed that we don't even talk about it. We don't get to it. And also, I believe with us doing this show on this platform, it's important that our audience knows who we are. Because I hate when I go to stuff and I'm like, why are they telling me this? Who is this? I felt that way before. So it's important for our folks and our supporters to know who we are. So interview today, and I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, good. How you feeling though?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. I can't complain, man. Life is good.
Life is good, right? Yeah, it is, man. It really is. All right, bet. So we're gonna jump right in. Going back to our root, the blocks we from, and all of that kind of stuff, and we're gonna keep going. So, and thinking about looking at the Bronx during the era where you grew up. First, what era did you grow up in?
I'm a 70s baby.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the 80s.
Okay. What was it like, and what are some things in your childhood that affected you, either positively or negatively? I would like to hear separately the positive and also things that you feel may have affected you negatively. But just give us a picture of what your hood was like.
It was interesting. I think I'm from Castle Hill. Anyone who knows Castle Hill knows that Castle Hill was a community all its own. Like the Bronx, for some reason, outside of all of the other boroughs, community is very different in the Bronx. And so it was hectic, but then not. I don't know how to explain that.
I think it was hectic, but we was used to it.
Let me take it back. So growing up in Castle Hill as a kid, I didn't know anything different. So in hindsight, we could say we ain't have much. You know, we grew up in really, really tough environments, tough times, and a lot of hardship, but it's all I knew. So it felt normal.
Right.
You know, obviously the 80s was the crack epidemic. It was something very close to home. Seeing what we called crackheads growing up, right? Drug addicts who, at the time in the streets, we called them crackheads. Some of the crackheads was people we knew. We knew their whole family,
Yep.
right? So it's like, damn, it's horrible to see it, but that's still Miss Sharon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's still Miss Sharon.
Yeah.
So my in-house community was very different from my outside community in so many ways. It's 6 of us, but in the house at the time, I have a little sister. She came way later. So I was raised, it was 5 of us growing up in the house at the same time. Out of that 5 of us, I was the youngest.
Got it.
So I had a different perspective because I'm watching my older siblings go through the motions and I'm able to be a bystander.
Right.
So being a bystander to teenage siblings
Yeah.
is wild.
Yeah.
It's super wild. So from that standpoint, it was fun. Like being in the house and pranking each other.
Yeah.
Like my oldest sister was a glutton for punishment. Like she I don't know why we could pull a wool over her eyes.
Oh, so?
All the time. So we would put like buckets of water on top of the door and call her like it was an emergency, and she come running in like, what? Then,
oh God,
water on her. She tight. We laughing, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you go to the other side of it. We in the house banging like we niggas from the street. Right. So it was, you know. It was nothing was all bad, nothing was all good. It was just like this is our life.
Got it. Now, what do you think some things in growing up in in your home life, in your neighborhood, what was going on in like I know Castle Hill, right? But I want the audience to know Castle Hill. What's some things that was going on over there?
All right. So Castle Hill growing up is very different than the Castle Hill I know now. I'm not going to speak from who I am today. I'm going to speak from my experience as a kid. I would get up early in the morning to meet up with my best friend, and we would be outside all day. Like, we didn't even have to eat a meal.
Right.
We outside.
Yeah.
Outside is our meal.
Right.
So we outside. But before you get from your door to outside, you know, you in pissy elevators. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you don't lean on the wall because there's spit there, right? Those things become a regular situation that I never got used to.
Right.
You have your regular community of people who you see regularly, so everybody's saying hi, asking about your family, right? And then you have those people who you've known forever, but now they're on drugs. And that's just Miss Sharon, Sharon that you feel sorry for.
Yeah.
Because it ain't looking so good, but that's what it is. So you passing that, and then you meet up with your people, and we on bikes.
Right.
We're supposed to be in the back park.
Right.
But we in Pelham Bay. What the hell are we doing in Pelham Bay? We riding our bikes, and we figure as long as we get back by time to get upstairs, we good. So we would have little scavengers. We using our imaginations, and all we seeing is the beauty of what it is in this moment, right? All we seeing is we enjoying each other. We're both telling each other what we're gonna do. We're gonna conquer the world. And behind my mother's building, across the street, there was we called it Salt Mountain.
Okay.
It's where they kept the salt for snowy days.
Okay.
And it looked like Mount Everest to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we're so little.
Right.
So we used to walk past there and be like, yo, one day we're going to climb that. Right. One day we're going to climb that. And I never forget, one day we sat in the house, me and Jessica sat in the house, and we got paper and pen, and we started jotting down what we wanted to do and how we was going to do it. We had a whole plan. And then we went outside, and we proceeded to, you know, go through our plan. The goal was to climb Salt Mountain. But the conflict in that was the fact that Salt Mountain had guard dogs. And these guard dogs were on these long chains that allowed them to get close to the exit, just not out the exit. Right? So we had to be very strategic about how we was getting in here, right? But the crazy part is, we got in. One of the dogs almost caught my pant leg. We climbed it. It was crazy. We stood on the top. We like, we're on top of the world, right? It was amazing. Wow. It was an amazing memory. Yeah. Right. But we didn't think it all the way through because we never thought of how we getting out of here.
Right. He was like, you just knew you had to get in.
So now we beat the dogs, but now the dogs know we here. And they are on our ass. Oh, and no lie. Remember Miss Sharon I spoke about? Miss Sharon's son just happens to be walking. But he's from my mother's building as well. So he's walking next to the building, and from where we're standing, because we're on top of the mountain, we can see him. Right. So I'm calling him, Maurice. And when I call him, he sees us, and we need help getting out of here, like distracted dogs. So he finds, I think it was like Chinese food or something, throws it to the dogs. So the dogs go for the food. But one of the dogs, for some reason, he like this. I want the food, but I want them too.
Right.
So we're like, so I'm like, yo, Jess, we have to
Sensei Jessie?
run. Nah, this is Jessica.
Your friend Jessica.
My best friend as a child.
Right.
I'm like, we have to run as fast as we can. As long as we could beat them to the exit, to where the chain pulls them back, we good.
Right.
But if we don't, we in trouble. Right? Exactly. So it's a stand on me moment. We like, ah! So he's like, I'm gonna throw this, run. He throws it, the dogs go. As we start to shimmy our way trying to get down, because you can't get down fast. It's salt.
So now you need time to get down. They know you're moving.
It's salt. Much. So every time you step, salt is falling.
Oh my God.
We didn't think this through at all. We're kids, right? We finally get down. I'm like, run. And the one dog that ain't caring about that Chinese food, we hear the chain. And I'm not looking back at all. No. We just like this. Ah, we running, we screaming, we running. We get out the exit, and we just, the dog, you hear the dog get choked. It's like, and we just celebrating. We talking shit to the dog.
Right.
You ain't catch us, you ain't catch us. My mother would have killed me if she knew. Her mother would have killed
Y'all
her.
would have got beat.
If she knew that we was doing that stuff. But both of us was just like we wanted to conquer something. We was talking like we climbed Mount Everest.
Wow.
That was like those were the type of things I was doing as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think some things in your childhood that affected you negatively? I see that the energy, the fortitude to accomplish things which you still have. Is there anything growing up as a child that you feel did a little damage?
Well, the story I spoke of included my best friend Jessica, and obviously our friendship was short-lived because she ended up passing on at the age of 10. So all of this I'm saying happened prior to her 10 years, right? So all of the experiences we had a lot, but they were in very short amount of time. When you look back at it as a kid, it felt, we
It's
outside
forever.
every day.
That's right.
My best friend was murdered. I speak about this all the time. Everybody on social media who knows me knows this story, even if they didn't grow up in Castle Hill, because I made sure that as long as I live, her name is being spoken. So losing her was detrimental to my entire being. It changed the entire course of my life. The day comes, and our usual routine is we go to school during the daytime. We always made sure we did our homework at school because that gave us more time to hang out.
Right.
I dropped my book bag. I live on the 10th floor. She lives on the 6th floor. I run down the steps, go get her, and we decide what we're going to do outside. When I go to her house on this day, her brother Steven answers the door, and he's like, she not here. She had to do a collaborative project for schoolwork. So he was like, she went over there to do a project. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be outside. If she doesn't get back before karate class, let her know I went to the dojo. Karate class was over. Steven walks in. At this point, I don't even realize that she never came. I see his eyes. And he's like, yo, Jessica didn't come here? And I'm like, no, she ain't come home? And he's like, no. So this is like the moment that changes my entire world. One of my older brothers and one of her older brothers used to hang out. They get a group of people together from the dojo and from outside to go and search party. I wasn't allowed to go because it was so late. I wake up for school the next day. She still wasn't found. All right. I go to school. Come back. She still wasn't found. Now it's different. Because even though we were kids who got on our bikes and got around, neither one of us was the runaway type.
Right.
It just didn't make sense.
Right.
So, long story short, she ends up being missing for 8 complete days. I'm going through it. I'm going through it. My world has been rocked. This is somebody I've seen every day, and now she's gone, and nobody understands where. Her family has no clue. We have no clue. She's front page news at this point. So now I'm understanding what the process of a search looks like, right? My old school IS 174. Back then, IS 174 had a swamp behind it. They had to go and drag the swamp. Like, so now the seed is being planted. Like, she could be dead. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a kid.
Yeah, it's like
she's 10. She was about to be 11. I was 12 years old.
got it.
Right? I'm not thinking as far as everybody else is thinking. So as they're reporting on swamps being dragged and all of this, it's like, she ain't dead. And that was my constant. She's not dead. I couldn't fathom her being dead. It was more of, I wanted to believe that somebody took her to be their own kid. So I let myself to believe that. And my mother working at the precinct worked in my favor because she had information that nobody else had. Obviously, she wasn't supposed to give me that information, but she, out of caring for me, making sure that I didn't get misinformed, she's giving me up to date with what's happening. So the karate class is meeting, we're flyering all of the areas. I'm fighting everybody because
Hurting.
it's not just that. Like, kids are cruel. So it was me and her, right? And then you had other people who sprinkled in at times. The karate class was like a family. We traveled together. Boys liking girls, girls liking boys, all of that. It was these two brothers who we called ourselves dating each other. And we had a trip to Sebago Camp. Our Sebago Camp trip was where we decided we don't really like them.
Okay.
So we cut the ball. And because of that, the boys were sour. Right? So as we're flyering the area looking for her, one of the brothers made a statement and said, I could be at home eating chicken, talking to girls, instead I'm out here searching for this bitch who's probably already dead.
Ooh.
And I lost my shit. I lost my shit for so many reasons. It's like, not only I'm already going through what I'm going through, this is my best friend. But these are people who we supposed to be like family.
Yeah.
And his ego was so bruised by this scenario that he decided that was the thing to say in that moment. So I'm now getting a crash course in something very different than what I was used to. You know what I mean? Someone that I'm used to being around is gone. Someone else that I'm used to being around is just really not being a good person to me. I didn't know how to feel about anything I was going through. So it was just a lot of losing it. There was a rumor in Castle Hill that these two girls had something to do with her disappearance. It was a rumor. I'm 12. It's the truth.
Right.
And I'll never forget, I'm outside, and I see one of the girls after I heard, the rumor, and I had started carrying a box cutter in my pocket, and I went to cut one of the girls, and my Aunt Liz caught me and stopped me, and took me under the wing and just kind of really just everywhere. Now she just made sure if she was involved in anything productive, anything going on, it's like, yo, you coming with me.
Yeah.
She'd hit my mother up like, yo, I'm gonna take Nish. And I needed that. At the time this happened, my father's in jail. My father's in jail. My friend has disappeared. The reporters are up the block constant now. What I didn't mention was that Jessica was murdered by a serial killer. And like, that's the only thing that we saw on TV.
Yeah, at that time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was horror flicks.
Yeah.
And I was now living a horror flick.
Yeah.
So it changed my life for my entire foreseen future. It changed everything. I'll never forget the day that they actually found her body. Everything's not somber the whole time, right? It's 8 days. You have moments you still laughing and joking, but you still like, yeah, you know what I mean? So we're outside. It's me, my older sister, and one of Jessica's brothers, Ricky, and we're standing at the bus stop just talking. I had clothes in the laundromat, so I had already put the clothes in, and I came out and was talking to them. Time passed. We're standing here. The reporters are right there. So we're talking, we laughing, we joking, we acting silly, our usual selves. And then I'm like, yo, let me go check on my clothes. So I leave them there and I go to get the clothes. When I get there, the clothes have stopped. So I'm like, I might as well just fold everything up and take them upstairs so I can just go outside and hang. And I start walking down with the shopping cart. A police car comes. As soon as it's skirted, door open, and my mother runs out with tears in her eyes. In that moment, I knew. And my mother embraced me, and she's telling me that they found Jessica's body. And that was the very first time that I knew that losing your legs was a real thing.
Yes. Oh man, I know that feeling.
She's holding me up and she's telling me that she needs me to keep it together because she's not supposed to tell me this. The family doesn't know yet. So she's like, this is what I need you to do. I have to go back to work. I just wanted to get to you before the news got out. Go be with her family, but don't say anything.
Oh, gee.
Because they don't know. Don't say anything.
How you supposed to do that?
So that's what I did. And I'm just trying to pull myself together. I gotta dry it up. I can't cry. I gotta seem like I'm okay and be there for them. So I get to the house, I drop off the shopping cart, I go down to the 6th floor, and you know the family's there. Her little cousin that I used to keep under the wing is there, uncles, aunts, everybody's there. And they embrace me. I come in, I say hi to everybody. Mom's in the bedroom in a rocking chair holding Jessica's doll. And everybody's kind of interacting regular, right? It's not like somber. Everybody's just kind of there. The TV is on, but the TV has no sound. So everybody's just talking amongst each other. I'm trying to act normal, but I don't know what that is. So I'm just quiet. I'm just kind of sitting there. And then I hear her father say, turn the TV up. I look up and I see her picture in the corner of the screen. So I brace myself because I know exactly what's about to happen. And the family finds out through the television what my mother guarded me from. They weren't guarded from. And the whole house went. It was bad. It was bad. I couldn't hold it no more. I've been holding it. Everybody screaming and crying. Her mother's in the room, so her mother didn't see it, but she hears everyone, so now she knows. Brother's coming down the hallway. We hear him in the hallway scream. I'm not knowing while I'm there, while I'm in the house, my sister and her other brother is still up the block. So they're seeing the lady's mouth say that his sister's dead while they're standing feet away from her. And this is shit you watch in a Lifetime film that is actually my life.
Right.
So, although there was so many times, like the first story I spoke of, when we're, you know, having these adventures, all of these things that I think about and I laugh about and I smile about. Shit. Even though I have all of these moments that bring me so much joy, a lot of those moments were in the shadows after that. It was hard to remember them.
Right.
Because this one was so prevalent.
Yeah. It dominated your life after that.
And every choice I made after that, every decision was just very counterproductive.
Did you get any kind of therapy or anything to discuss this? Like, how was it dealt with?
Ooh. My mother had a therapist come into the house, but I had a very unhealthy understanding of what therapy was.
Yeah, back then, definitely.
And because back then our culture said that therapy meant you was crazy, I was 100% against it. So even though I needed it, I pushed back. I told this woman anything she wanted to hear to get her the hell out of my face.
Gotcha.
I dealt with nothing. So although my mother gave me the tools, I didn't utilize them. And it bit me going forward.
Got it. Thank you for your help.
Yes. I didn't expect this interview to go there.
That was one of my biggest fears, and you was over there living it. Dead ass. All I thought about, you was literally living it, and I was just fearing it. That was crazy. That's crazy. How many siblings do you have?
6 of us.
6 of us.
So I'm one of 6.
How did growing up with siblings, 5 in the house, you 6? You made 6, right? No,
Naisha.
Naisha made 6. How did that craft your concept of community? Especially in dealing with something like this, how did it craft your concept?
When I think of community, I see the fact that my mother said, you know, y'all have to take y'all little sister with y'all, right? So I was always with my brothers and sisters, mostly my sisters, experiencing life while watching them. Seeing my mother figure out a way, because although I had a father, he wasn't in the household, and he was getting in his own troubles, which took him away from the scenario. So watching my mother figure it out was ways that I seen community. My brothers punching me, beating me up in the corner to show me, like, them thinking they teaching me that I'm not tough, but showing me exactly how tough I am.
Like, I'm tough, right.
Showed me community. But my idea of community wasn't your average, as you can see, idea of community. By the time I went through some of my most trying times, because I was the youngest in the house, my older siblings had started branching out.
Right.
So by the time that Jessica passed on, my older siblings didn't live with us anymore. Naisha was born. And it was us, and my mother still had to make her way. So the level of community that I would have desired in home I didn't necessarily have
at that time.
but I did have community at the dojo,
Okay.
which looked very different after Jessica passed on. But as I said, my Aunt Liz showed me community. As soon as she seen I was losing my touch a little bit, she pulled me in. So from that standpoint, I would say that community for me just looked like people who show up for you, who pay attention to what you need and provide that, who toughen you up to prepare you for what life is. And then the outside community, I took them for granted a lot. I focus on my people because I believe that's who you're supposed to focus on. You know what I mean? Like, that's who you pour into, because they're also there pouring into you. Everybody else giving them that energy takes away from your people. And although I didn't understand that's what I was doing back then, that's exactly what I did. I think it's a beautiful thing, but I think I had a blind spot as well. So I took my environment for granted. And I remember having that realization when Jessica came up missing. Because although we said hi, it was like, we ain't mess with nobody. It was us.
Right.
It's us.
Right. Yep.
When it was time to put up flyers, every day somebody came up to me and said, yo, can I help? Every day somebody came to me and was like, yo, is there anything I can do for you? I went into the stores, the Asian family that we constantly spent money with. One of the lady was like, yo, wasn't that your friend that you always came in here with? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yo, put some flyers up in here.
Yeah.
Asking me how I'm doing.
Right.
And that was the first time that I seen what unity was supposed to be.
Right.
Even though it took a negative situation, it was like, yo, they showed up.
They showed up. Yeah.
From the drug dealers to
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
No matter what you thought about their kind of the fiends.
Right.
The ones that we joked about calling crackheads showed up. And that's how I understood community.
Beautiful. I appreciate you sharing all of this, and I wasn't really trying to pull it or anything, but this is your story, so I'm just, asking those questions. What was your coming out story or experience?
Oh my God.
I don't think I know this. I don't know if you ever talked about it.
I think I told you.
Yeah?
It might come back to
Let's see.
Okay, so I knew I was gay very early. But I was also shown very early that it wasn't okay. My dad didn't believe in beatings. The only time I ever got beat by him is he caught me with a girl. And I was very young. So the same way everybody experiments as a kid, kissy stuff with as kids. I was doing that with girls. And I was shown in that moment that it wasn't okay. I didn't know what gay was. Let's be clear. I was very young, so I didn't know the title of it. I didn't know what that was.
Right.
I just knew there was attraction. I knew what I felt for girls.
Right.
I knew that my attraction to girls was what my brother's attraction to girls was, not what my sister's attraction to girls was. Attraction is different. So, getting that beating, it could have just been a beating off of the fact that you being fresh.
Right.
But I seen it as I'm being beat because it's
Wrong.
Right. So, putting that in my mental Rolodex, there was homophobic conversation that took place around me that let me know, okay, this ain't okay with them either. So at a certain point, it was like, okay, this is not a good thing. I lost my best friend at 12. I'm looking for safe spaces, different things. I'm dealing with this whole sexuality thing. I'm dealing with this grief thing. I'm dealing with all of this. And trying to fix myself turned me into a 15-year-old mother. And the level of depression that brought, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm producing this movie. Yeah.
Yo, it's crazy because like you're doing things as a reaction,
Right.
for something.
Right.
And then because you're doing things, there's a reaction that comes from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that reaction is permanent.
Yeah.
And that permanent reaction is the biggest responsibility you ever have in your
In the
life.
world. Yep. Wow.
Nigga.
Wow.
Now I'm like, oh my God. I still felt like I was broken. Just broken with a new responsibility that I had to show up for.
Wow.
And
15.
fast forward to 19, I had another kid.
That's still young.
And I was like, this can't be fixed. I don't think I'm broken. And how many fucking kids you gonna have before you understand that you're not broken?
Yeah, right. Oh, wow.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
So when my second daughter was young, it started becoming real hard for me to see myself, look at myself in the mirror. Because I wasn't being myself. I was living a life that I felt other people deemed cool for me. I had to rip the Band-Aid off. I was like, I can't do this. Not another day, not another minute, not another second. Like, I'm gay. And I have to be real about this. And I sat with her father and I told him I didn't want to go from that to just jumping in and trying to get with women.
Right.
It was like I need to identify who the hell am I? Since I was 12, everything has just been an act. I just been moving and acting off of this life that I felt like I was thrown in at this point. Now I need to know who the hell I am.
Right.
So I even though I knew I was attracted to women, I said I'm not in a place to just be jumping in. I want to know who, where I stand and be solid in that before I make that move. Somebody I was very close to is taking me out and introducing me to that side of the world. And it was fun, right? But the same way he was able to trust me with his information, I wasn't able to trust him with my information.
Why you say that?
Because he outed me.
Oh, shit.
And blew my world up.
Got it.
So that was my coming out story.
Got it. Cool. Can kind of relate. And all that you've been through, the great parts, the traumas, how would you today define your purpose? And then with that, how did you discover it? What experiences led you to you defining your purpose as this?
Early on, I would have said that we all have different purposes, but I believe differently today. When I was younger, I thought my purpose was just to bring beautiful things into the world because I'm an artist. When I self-actualized, it brought me to the understanding that we all have the same purpose, but it shows differently. And all of our purpose is to be of service. Right?
Right.
All of our purpose is to be of service, and all of our services are different.
Right. Got it.
And the way that I was able to come to that was, like I said, getting to know who I was. As I was able to identify all of the gifts that I had. Like what, besides just being an artist, it's like that's not who you are. It's something you're able to do. Like what are the gifts that were bestowed upon you from day one? And I'm a great teacher. I've known that forever. Without actually being a teacher in a room, like throughout my life, I taught people. And I'm like, I got a gift in that, right? So I'm a great teacher naturally. The fact that I was able to be shown all of the reactions from my actions in my life, and was able to make adjustments accordingly.
You had a chance to course correct.
It taught me that that I'm a natural inspiration as well. Like that I'm able to be the blueprint for others. So just all of the things that I've been through have taught me lessons that led to who I became.
Right.
And in divine order, those lessons paired with my natural gifts. And this is who you see now.
So you see now. Powerful. Good stuff. And telling your story through video, through writing books and teaching young people.
I used to think that art was the purpose, but it's just the vehicle.
Right. It's the vehicle. Yeah. Yeah. By which you bring about these lessons and all of that kind of stuff. Absolutely. That's how you start. So how does all of you lend to your value within the culture? What would you say your value is the culture? Just to define that. You described it, but just to say your value is to the culture.
Now that people demonize mistakes, demonize vulnerability, all of the things that are demonized today, demonize direct, straightforward engagement, all of the things that I am, I lend to the culture the ability to understand that those are the strengths, not the weaknesses.
Got it. Love it. That's good. Last but not least, everything that we talked about today, some things I'm sure you left out. When you look at it, you're going to say, oh, could have said this. But everything that you've been through, what did it teach you? Or anything you would advise to parents? What would you do differently based on, like, what is it? What's your gift back?
I say it in every show. Fix what you break. But the goal is not to break. Right? It's nothing, I don't think it's so profound. I think that being a teen parent and watching my child grow, then watching another one of my children from my late teens grow, they both experienced a different version of me. And that has impact. So what I would say in regard to parenting is, if you can wait. Not for a specific time, but for a specific maturity, for a specific capability, for specific information, and the ability to carry out all of that information. I said on another show publicly that I wasn't a good parent, and a lot of people were fighting me on that because they seen the parent I was. And I'm big on truth, right? And the truth of the matter is, when you lack information, you can't be great at the thing you lack information.
That's an information,
right? So being a young, very wounded child, my child experienced things through me that she shouldn't have. Even though when you hear her speak of me, you'll hear her say she's protected. She knew she was safe. She knew she was safe by way of my ability to turn violence on someone. So I taught her that violence was safety. That is not the lesson that she was supposed to receive.
Got it.
Right? And there's a lot of different lessons that were the wrong information. Right? Not intentionally. Right? My intentions were always good.
Right.
I did what I could with the information I had. And for most, they would say that makes me a good parent.
Right.
I disagree.
Okay.
That doesn't make you a good parent. That makes you someone who did what you could. A good parent makes sure that they set the stage for a healthy environment, a healthy upbringing, the abilities and information necessary to make someone thrive, not survive.
Right.
And so that would be the information that I would put out, is to make sure that you put yourself in a situation prior to the children that create the environment and circumstances for them to thrive as great humans, not as money getters, as great human beings, and the world will be a better place.
That's right. And the money gonna come anyway.
Comes with the process.
Comes with the process. All right, I don't want to give a pound. I want to hug out.
You so stupid.
Okay.
I gotta make that face when you hug.
You made an ugly face. I thought I was making a cute face. You said. I said. All right. Thank you for this interview. This was. I felt like a 60 minutes type situation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I mean? But no, not crazy at all. I don't like that word.
It's a lot of.
Yeah. This was. It was. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense of the Mahagony that I met. You know what I'm saying? It all makes sense. It is, so yeah, quite a story, man. This is, thanks for telling it, and I'm glad that we, anyway, yeah, I'm thanks for telling it, and I'm proud of us for creating a platform to be able to tell our stories and share our experiences. I think it's important for us to do that. Just ask people to share with each other and help each other out, and like we said, leave the world better than we found it. So,
I'm Mahagony.
I'm Ish.
And this is Culture Currency.
But culture
Is the value.
Make sure to like, share.
Subscribe, comment.
We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.